Alright, so in case you didn't know, I'm a Notre Dame fan. And this video has got something to do with it because I'm going to predict my own team's record for this upcoming season. Of course, I'm including that there's really no delays or like no cancellations or anything, just like a completely normal season happening. So, let's kick this off. Starting out with the season opener with Navy, which was supposed to be played in Ireland. That's definitely not happening anymore. I imagine either it'll get played somewhere in the U.S., probably at a mutual site, since that's where Ireland's supposed to be technically a mutual site. But either way, Notre Dame played the triple option long enough. They know really how to prepare for it good enough. And Navy just lost their quarterback that ran it for a couple of seasons, so they aren't going to be the greatest team anymore. So this is probably going to be an easy dub for Notre Dame. Next, we've got one of the weaker SEC teams in Arkansas. So really, not much to talk here. I wish we would schedule at least a stronger SEC team. Someone like Mississippi State would have been nice, or Tennessee possibly. But we scheduled Arkansas. They're not very good. This will more than likely be an easy dub. Next, we got Western Michigan at home. And honestly, once again, I'm kind of disappointed with the scheduling because I don't really want to play Western Michigan. I'd rather play someone at least a little good. But it seems like Notre Dame's trying to go around and play like the small MAC schools, like basically the little schools around Indiana, and like Michigan, Ohio, Illinois, just trying to knock those out. And probably some in Wisconsin will end up playing too. It seems like that's the teams they're trying to put on their schedule, so at least like balance it out. But I wish they would schedule stronger teams, in my opinion. But either way, this is going to be easy dub, and it's not going to be much of a contest. Next, we go to Wake Forest, and this game's going to be at Wake Forest. I don't really see a problem here. Wake Forest is one of the weakest teams in the ACC, which in general the ACCs are really weak to begin with. So this is probably going to be an easy dub. Next, this is more than likely going to be one of Notre Dame's big games for this season, and this one is Wisconsin. This one's kind of at Wisconsin, at least it's in the state Wisconsin, just not at Wisconsin. It's actually at Lambeau Field, which is home to the Green Bay Packers. So this should be a fun game to watch, if it still happens, of course, at Lambeau. But either way, this is going to be a throwing game. And honestly, I think Notre Dame takes the dub in this game, just because I don't think Wisconsin's going to be able to replace Jonathan Taylor this quickly, only 5 weeks into the season. I think it's going to take a little bit longer for a certain running back to finally take the bell cow that Jonathan Taylor once was. And I just think this is too early for Wisconsin to win some games, to replace their former starters. Because you have to remember, Notre Dame is coming back like fully loaded, basically. They lost some players on defense, but it didn't really hurt them at all. And their whole offensive line is coming back, all returning starters. And Ian Book's the returning quarterback. Their only real question mark is wide receiver, but even that's not a big worry for them because they still have Braden Lindsey, who's like a speeder on the outside, basically. And they also have Javon McKinley, who was a former four-star of himself and showed some flashes last season, so he could be that one wide receiver that makes a big jump. And they have the transfer from Northwestern, I don't even know how to pronounce his last name yet. I will learn eventually throughout the season, though. But yes, I do think Notre Dame will end up taking this dub. Then they move to Stanford, which is at home. And Stanford just isn't a good team anymore. Their head coach should get fired, hopefully here soon, so they become more competitive and get better recruits. But this is just going to be an easy dub for Notre Dame, and it's not really going to be a competition. Then they go to Pitt, which Pitt's usually a problem just because they're a hard physical football team led by their head coach usually. And any game with Pitt is usually a tough game. And they usually come up to shine against better opponents. You saw that last year against Penn State, where they actually almost beat Penn State. So they just like shining up, being more physical against the better teams, the more quality teams usually. And will bounce back down to their opponent's level, usually, if that makes sense. But I expect Notre Dame to take this dub. So, yeah, so far I have them undefeated. But next, they play Duke at home. There's no more Daniel Jones at Duke. That was 2 years ago. And Duke's not the same team they used to be, so I kind of expect this to be easy dub for Notre Dame as well. Which brings us to the big game of the year, which is Clemson at home. So, college football playoff rematch from 2 years before. Gotta remember, this is just gonna be such a good game. But Clemson has Trevor Lawrence. They have Travis Etienne. They just have an amazing loaded offense in general. Their defense might be a little weaker this season, but taking factor, Ian Book's the quarterback at Notre Dame, and Brian Kelly just can't win big games. I don't feel very confident about this one. I think Notre Dame's probably going to lose this game. I don't expect it to be a blowout, though. I kind of expect it to be more like the Georgia game, where it was kind of closer. But I don't expect Notre Dame to pull out this one. Next, we go to Georgia, and we play Georgia Tech. But instead of that Georgia Tech, we're playing at the Atlanta Falcons Stadium, Mercedes-Benz. And even though Georgia Tech has this brand new offense, they're still kind of learning it, still kind of developing it. So I do expect Notre Dame to take the dub. I do expect this game to be a little bit closer than some may expect. Next, we play Louisville at home. I think Louisville's going to surprise some people next year and being a pretty good team, basically because of their quarterback, Malik Cunningham. He's a pretty good quarterback, in case you haven't watched any of his games yet. But he can play. That's for damn sure, especially as a college quarterback. Either way, I kind of expect Notre Dame to take this dub. It's Senior Sunday. It's going to be the senior night. Plus, there's a lot of seniors on that team this year, so I expect this to be 100% a dub in the end. Then we move on to our rivals and play at USC. This is going to be a huge game for Notre Dame, I feel like. And I kind of feel like both teams are probably going to be top 15 come this game. It's more than likely going to be a primetime game. Keaton Slovis at QB for USC. And Notre Dame has Ian Book at quarterback. It's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be a tight one. And really, with a win, this possibly could help Notre Dame make the college football playoff. At least it's going to probably put them in contention for it, like the outside looking in. Don't expect them to make the college football playoff at all next season, though. But seeing how they have done a pretty good job with USC these past 3 years, I kind of expect that tradition to continue, and I kind of expect Notre Dame to take this win. So, I have Notre Dame going 11-1. If you agree or disagree with me on these games, I want to hear explanation of why. Which games will Notre Dame lose? Give me reasons why. And if you think they'll beat Clemson, tell me why down below. Also, if you have any suggestions for another video, put that down below as well. And who knows, I may end up making a video someday, time in the near future. And of course, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you click those links down there if you have Instagram, Twitter, Discord, and Patreon. And of course, just make sure you keep the sports feed flowing throughout the day.